What inspired you to build a coalition of LGBT inclusive churches? If you could talk about that.
I made the directory in the coalition of churches because I knew that people of faith shouldn't have to choose between their sexuality and vice versa. They shouldn't have to feel like they have to make that choice to choose between two things that pretty much define them or who they are.
People often think about coming out as an individual experience. It isn't. It's an experience that touches siblings, parents, grandparents, extended family, and in people in one's churches and spiritual communities. This is a highly complex event, and it's difficult for people to navigate. Oftentimes one comes out and then one is told by family, go back into the closet.
That was definitely a main focal point or problem, I guess, when I was coming out, because I have extended family. Like I have not just, when I say extended family, I mean friendships that have been going on since kindergarten. If I come out to my friend, will they in fact tell their mom? And then when I lose that support system, I lost a friend before I came out to anyone. It was very interesting because religion's a big part of me. They said, well, I think you need to find Jesus. And I'm like, I'm pretty tight with Jesus, actually, as we are speaking right now.
What do we know about HIV in rural communities?
Well, actually, we know very little. Most of the information that we know about HIV comes from urban areas, but rural communities don't know much at all, and they're not informed, and oftentimes rural school systems are not even allowed to talk about HIV.
There's a lot of isolation. There's no way to reach out because it's the trust factor almost. You don't know who you can trust to A, be there for you, and B, keep it a secret until you're ready to tell everybody.
There is more visibility in the mainstream media. How has that affected LGBT youth in rural towns?
Well, I think despite the visibility, people in rural communities think this is an urban event. They're actually shocked to believe there could be a gay person in their town, even though clearly there are. They're not open. The gay people aren't open to them. They hide. And so they're in this state of basically, not necessarily denial, but really ignorance about the fact that they have people in their communities that are LGBT.
The first and only person I knew that was gay in high school, I watched him get escorted off of campus because he was gay. And I watched the principal and I was like, oh, so that's the result of what's gonna happen.
This is very important. It's something I call vicarious victimization. And that is seeing what happens to somebody else who's gay, who comes out. And in schools, I ask my classes repetitively, how many people are open in your high schools? They say 1 or 2. What has happened? And what has happened has been bad. Many schools really don't provide the safety that they need for LGBT students. It's also important, for example, to have what's called a gay-straight alliance, a group in the school that shows that it's overtly supporting gay students. About half the United States schools have GSAs. That's not the case in rural communities. They're much more uncommon.
What do we need to do to move this issue forward, to make it easier and more accepted for LGBT to come out?
When people feel safe, they can deal with some of these issues. Safety is critical. And then information and education and training, so people know that they're not unprepared completely if a child says, I'm a lesbian.
Jordan?
I definitely agree. Like, safety is the first thing. Once you erase that stigma of it being a choice, then you can only go up from here. You can only go up from there. Once you educate people, you can bring in the safety and you can bring in that, oh, okay, well, this is normal. This is okay. This is something that I should support because these are people.